Tara McClelland is a young person working with and for young people, and now is nominated for Young Australian of the Year. In her job as a youth worker with the Salvation Army, she helps 16 to 25-year-olds who are struggling with accommodation security. She helps them with the skills and confidence they need to be equipped for the future. Tara's particularly passionate about young people's mental health being the gateway to her strength-based empowerment practice, and dedicates her free time to volunteer with the youth reference group at Headspace Canberra.
Homelessness doesn't just mean sleeping rough on the street. Homelessness can mean couch surfing. It can mean having a home but not a safe home and things like that. So those young people are there, they're in Canberra, and we need to be advocating for them and helping them because they deserve a bright future.
Here she helps find paths to funding, organises events to support mental well-being, and holds school information sessions.
Anything that will promote and inspire young people to get their help and reach out and, speak to others that might be suffering because, we're all in this together.
Tara keeps her schedule packed, also sitting on the Canberra Youth Theatre's Youth Artists Advisory Panel, and has assisted the Children and Young People Commissioner's Office with their work on family violence. Tara's contributions have also been recognised with a commendation for a 2019 Yogi Award and a nomination for a 2020 Young Canberra Citizen of the Year. Tara McClelland, our 2021 ACT Young Australian of the Year. Nathan Parker was on his way to his dream job as a military fighter pilot when a bus accident left him severely injured and his left hand amputated. Despite this, Nathan didn't skip a beat and returned to civilian aviation within 3 months and military and university duties within just 7 months. He was the first upper limb amputee in the Australian Defence Force Academy's history to complete his final 12 months and graduated in 2017.
I feel incredibly lucky to have had such incredible support from the military. Everyone, right from my peers all the way through the chain of command, was incredibly supportive towards giving me the opportunity to not only go back and continue my studies, but to see what I could still do despite my injuries. So I'm incredibly grateful for that.
Nathan was medically discharged in 2019 and became a commercial pilot. He now works as a senior flying instructor in Lismore and is loop-de-looping his way through the sky with his aerobatic endorsement. He's a public speaker, mentor, flight instructor, and plans to provide joy flights for sick children, hopefully including barrel rolls.
My passion and my focus going forward is to try and be that inspiration for one person. If I can help even one person in their darkest of days and give them that sense of hope to keep going regardless of their situation, that's what basically inspires and drives me forward.
Nathan is also a gold medal athlete and represented Australia in the Invictus Games in Canada 2017 and Sydney 2018, winning 9 gold medals including 3 gold in Sydney. He also brought home 17 medals from 2 USA Warrior Games. Nathan Parker, our 2021 New South Wales Young Australian of the Year. Stuart McGrath isn't any old health practitioner. When he graduates, he's going to be the first Yolngu registered nurse, using his experiences and insight to meet the needs of different community groups in the way they need to be met. From his nomadic upbringing in remote Indigenous communities, to schooling in Canberra, to studying in Darwin, Stuart leads a rich life where he's overcoming significant challenges to follow his dream, including completing his first year of his Bachelor of Nursing degree remotely while working full-time and being a dad to 2 young girls.
There's not many Yolngu people in the health sector that's doing what I'm doing. So, the younger ones come up and see me doing what I'm doing and they're like, okay, if this guy can do it, we can do it.
Not content to sit still, Stuart helped produce the Ask the Specialist podcast with the Menzies School of Health Research to improve communication between health professionals and patients.
That doesn't matter whether you're black or white, immigrant, even refugee. We're all chasing that one thing, and it's called the Australian dream.
He's a passionate natural leader who's closing the gap between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians. Stuart is inspiring other First Nations young people to get involved in the health workforce, providing the care for their communities in the way only they can. Stuart McGrath, our 2021 Northern Territory Young Australian of the Year. Brothers Daniel and William Clarke are passionate conservationists for the critically endangered orangutan populations in Borneo and Sumatra. Since 2008, they have highlighted the magnificent species plight and raised more than $900,000 to help protect the animals and provide new homes and equipment so they can be happy, healthy, cheeky monkeys.
It has not only changed our lives and how we see the world, but also, Daniel and I know, has impacted the lives of so many other students around Australia so that they know that they have the ability to follow and find their own passions for the environment.
The brothers have also sponsored more than 50,000 hectares of orangutan habitat and adopted more than 100 animals. Daniel and William's publications about orangutan conservation have been added to the New South Wales education curriculum, so kids can learn about it in school. To date, the brothers have spoken in at least 80 schools to more than 60,000 students Australia-wide, inspiring other young people to make a positive difference in the world. Daniel and William are regularly invited to speak about sustainability, the environment, and all things orangutan.
I said to Mum, who's going to save the orangutans now that Steve Irwin's gone? Yeah. And I quickly turned around to her and said, why can't we do it?
Their conservation efforts have even been recognised by Dame Dr. Jane Goodall and US President Barack Obama. Daniel and William Clarke are joint 2021 Queensland Young Australians of the Year. Imagine launching a social enterprise that works to break down stigma around menstruation and provide better access to hygiene products. Now make it global. Now imagine you've done this all by just 18 years old. Implausible? Well, it's exactly what South Australia's Isobel Marshall has done. She used this to launch a line of high-quality, ethically sourced organic cotton pads and tampons to an Aussie market, with 100% of net profits going to One Girls, a charity that provides education programs for girls and women in Sierra Leone and Uganda.
In developing countries, about 30% of girls will drop out of school as soon as they hit puberty, because as soon as they start bleeding, if they are seen bleeding on the street or in their school, they're kicked out of their community, shunned for menstruating. It's just a really big cultural taboo. Back home in South Australia, Isobel has partnered with Vinnie's Women's Crisis Centre to give free pad and tampon access to women who require emergency accommodation, tackling period poverty wherever they can.
There's a shame and a stigma attached to periods that all women in this room will relate to. And I guess Eloise and I, we came to those facts and we came to those ideas, and we became a bit angry that this natural bodily function that is responsible for keeping us all alive, keeping our species alive, has such shame attached to it, and has actually become a barrier to education.
Oh, and to make it more impressive, Isobel does it all while also being a full-time student at the University of Adelaide, where she studies a Bachelor of Medicine and a Bachelor of Surgery. Isobel Marshall, our 2021 South Australian Young Australian of the Year. Toby Thorpe is a passionate advocate for youth empowerment and climate action. Through his initiatives, Juanville High School became the second Australian winner of the International Zaid Sustainability Prize, launching Tasmania as a global leader in renewable energy innovation. He organised the first statewide climate leaders conference in 3 Tasmanian cities, attracting more than 350 student participants.
Climate change is not an environmental issue, it's not a political issue, it's an issue about people. Understanding what is actually happening around the world is so important.
Now in its 3rd year, the Global Energy Award-winning program empowers young people to lead sustainability projects that will contribute positively to the environment and their communities.
This award isn't about me being heard, it's about my generation being heard. It's time that we move beyond politics into a space where we can actually care about our future. The decisions that are being made today are inherited by my generational peers.
Toby has twice led the Tasmanian youth delegation as part of the United Nations Climate Change Conference, showing he's a leader through and through. He's worked tirelessly to enable students to meet with Australian government representatives, as well as international changemakers like Greta Thunberg. He's also executive director at the Climate Change Initiative, which runs in-school workshops to help young people understand the power they hold, and to use it to make positive impact and connect with like-minded activists around the world. Toby Thorpe, our 2021 Tasmanian Young Australian of the Year. Tayla Harris is a young athlete who's kicking goals on the sports field and beyond. As a footy player in the AFLW, she was Carlton's leading goal kicker in 2019 and received the JLT Mark of the Year award for 2 years running. She's also an accomplished boxer and holds the Australian Super Welterweight title. In fact, she's undefeated in 8 professional fights. In 2019, Tayla was the target of sexualized trolling after a photo of her kicking a goal was circulated online.
I was fortunate enough to have been shown an incredible amount of support by, I would say, the Australian community, but then it even extended beyond that.
She handled the controversy with her strong fighting spirit and took the opportunity to speak up against online bullying and disrespect towards women.
On behalf of the people that felt represented from the saga that I went through, thank you so much, and I'll continue to push on and advocate for equality and to try and end this, onslaught of online abuse.
Tayla is now a powerful advocate for respectful relationships. She's an ambassador for Our Watch, an organisation working to prevent violence against women. She's also active in Carlton Respects, a community initiative that promotes gender equality in Australian schools and workplaces. Her co-authored 2020 book, More Than a Kick, provides advice to young people on how to navigate social media and deal with online bullying, which is an increasingly relevant issue. Tayla Harris, our 2021 Victorian Young Australian of the Year. Grace Forrest is the founding director of Walk Free, an international human rights organisation working to eradicate modern slavery, which affects over 40 million people globally. Together with the Walk Free team, Grace developed the Global Slavery Index, the world's leading dataset for measuring and understanding modern slavery.
This issue could be as close as the clothes that you're wearing tonight, the coffee you drank this morning, the technology in your pocket.
This index has even been used to inform international legislation. In 2018, Walk Free campaigned for the implementation of an Australian Modern Slavery Act, and they succeeded after receiving widespread support. Grace is a highly sought-after public speaker and has presented at various international forums and summits.
Slavery is a manifestation of extreme inequality, and it disproportionately affects women and girls around the world. So what we've found this year, conservatively, is that 1 in every 130 women and girls on Earth is living in modern slavery.
In recognition of her work and impact, Grace was appointed the United Nations Association of Australia's youngest ever Goodwill Ambassador. Grace Forrest, our 2021 Western Australian Young Australian of the Year.